files here, and let's see what we can end up doing with these. First off, select one image, go to Develop. This image was taken at Cadillac Ranch. Cadillac Ranch is in Amarillo, Texas, and it's where there's 10 Cadillacs from the 1950s, and they're nose first into the ground in the middle of a cow pasture. That's what you're looking at. And with this, I lit the cars because they would usually show up in silhouette. It's just a black shape. But I'm standing just outside the frame on the left side, and I have a huge flashlight. It's big enough that it comes with a shoulder strap. I mean, it's literally huge. And I just got it at a Costco store for about 50 bucks. They sell ridiculous stuff. And this is what I want to adjust. Now, the color of light coming out of that flashlight is not white light. And so it caused these cars to look kind of a yellowish color. And I want to see if I can correct for that. Anytime you want to get rid of a color cast in your image, if your image is too yellow, too blue, too orange, too whatever the color happens to be, it's white balance that you want to adjust. And there are three general ways of adjusting white balance. In the end, all three methods will come down to moving these two sliders right here, temperature and tint, because that's what white balance is. And there just happens to be three methods to figure out where to put those sliders. The first one is there's a pop-up menu right above the sliders. Right now mine is set to as shot. As shot means use the data my camera supplied to use the same white balance setting the camera thought it needed. Other choices in that menu would be auto. Auto is going to have Photoshop try to guess at what setting to use, similar to being in your camera with the white balance set to auto white balance. This is just Photoshop's version of it. You can try that. Not that big of a difference in this particular image. Then here we have all different kinds of light sources. If you know that the image was shot under daylight, or you know it was shot under fluorescent or tungsten light, then you can choose it here because those have very specific colors to their light sources and it can compensate for them. Some people ask, why is there a difference between things like daylight and shade? Well, daylight, you have the light of the sun. The light is coming from the sun, falling on your object, and it's going to be a warmer color. When you're in the shade, the light is coming usually not directly from the sun. Instead, it's coming from the blue sky that's surrounding that sun. And so it's going to be more bluish, more cool in color. So the colors are different depending on what kind of light source you have. So anyway, I could go through here if I knew the exact kind of lighting this was, but I don't know what was in that flashlight. I'm assuming it might have been tungsten. Yeah, that improved it quite a bit, but I'm only guessing. The choice called custom is going to appear anytime you've moved these sliders manually or you've adjusted them using anything except for this menu. And all custom means is it's not conforming to one of these choices. It just means you're off from one of these. So I'd use that if I knew that I had a large number of shots shot under fluorescent light. Why not just choose it real quick here and be done with it? But in this particular case, I'm not sure exactly what kind of bulb was in that flashlight, and so we're going to use something else. What I'm going to do is zoom in on this image. I'm just going to click on the image and drag to try to get over here where I can see one of the cars. And I can see some white paint on the cars. If I can find any white or gray on those cars, I can use it to white balance the image. Right near those two sliders for white balance, there's also a tool right here. If I click on that, that's the white balance tool, and I want to come in here and get the tip of that tool onto something that should be white or gray. And here I see some paint that I think is gray. I'll click there, and it'll use that to try to set the white balance. What it's really doing is anything that is a shade of gray, and the brightness is not critical, anything from white to black in the brightness range that's a shade of gray isn't supposed to have any color in it. It's not supposed to be bluish or yellowish or anything else. And so when I come in here and I click on it, Photoshop just measures to see if there's any color in there. And if it finds color, it assumes that's the color of the light source. And it shifts the color of the picture away from that color until the area you click on is truly a shade of gray. So I can pick any area that's painted with white or gray, click on it, and it should be able to figure out what color the light source is from